faster every day. Some may say we've lost our way, but waiting patiently in everything is truth. How can we be the change? How can we start this change? Let's take a step back from the brink, look into each other's eyes, reach out for that central link and organize. Reaching the rays of hope, guiding the ways to go. The central link, the central link, the central link.
Please join us on the Central Link.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Central Link. We are glad you could be with us.
I'm Grace Lefevre, and we usually do the weed walks that I have been doing probably for 40 years or more to show people the plants that we call weeds that are really some of the most nutritional and medicinal plants that you can use. Most of these plants are edible to put in your salad, or you can make tea or a green drink in your blender, and they are so valuable because of all of the vitamins and minerals. And of course, a lot of them are what we call deep divers that bring up all these wonderful minerals out of the soil. So here's a chance for you to learn to know what might be growing in your backyard or in your neighbor's yards that haven't been sprayed, though. Don't ever use those. Or you can come here and pick some of them to use. I hope that you enjoy this wonderful day that we have to do this. We call it a weed walk. Is the life color. You know, in the winter we didn't see any green much on the trees. They didn't have leaves, and when those leaves started coming out, we knew there was life there. So green is your life color. Well, then as I went through this little book, I found all of these wonderful ideas of all of these plants that are out here for us, and we call them weeds, but here they are, some of the best plants that you can get and use. And so that's the way it really began. You chew your drinks and you drink your food. Everything that goes in your mouth has to be mixed with saliva to start digestion. So your digestion starts right there. And if you don't chew well, then it goes down and it hasn't been properly done. And so every drink is chewed and every food is chewed until it's like a drink. So you chew your drinks and you drink your food. Look at the green leaves of the clover. You see, there are 3 round leaves. And that's important to know because there are other plants that have different kinds of leaves that are long and narrow. These are the little round leaves. And so they're very important when you see those 3 little round leaves. And clover is an edible food. The flowers are also very edible. Now there's the bigger clover. It's called the red clover, and it gets the red or pink blossoms. And that's one that's very good for cancer, although not for leukemia, they said, but for other cancers. So that's another one that we'll find very shortly, and pick that. But right now, I just wanted you to see that there are things growing in the lawn so often that people are not aware of and how wonderful they are. I think you'll find a few violets, and maybe different places we'll find some violets, but the violets are very, very high in vitamin C. Now, every green plant, every green has vitamin C, but then there are other vitamins included and other minerals included in all the plants. So we'll find out about some of those. But these are so important, and you can use those almost all year because they stay out here very late. Also the pansies, and so you can eat the pansies. And so I'm going to pick a pansy here and just just pick one off. I'll just take one off of there. That's it. Just take that one off. That's good. And take a yellow one too for me. Okay. Now, we'll put those in because here again, you can decorate your salads with these, and they're very, very good also. They have good vitamins and also good minerals. This dandelion has all these parts. Most people have only used the leaves. They have never used the whole part of the dandelion. But the dandelion is one of the most important greens that you can use because it works on the liver. Now the liver has to keep the toxins moving out of your body, and once the liver goes, you go. So you want to keep your liver strong and working. And this is one of the greatest things for the liver that you can get, is this wonderful stem and blossom. And this is the one that Maria Traben said every diabetic should eat 10 of those today. Well, now I eat them just to keep from getting diabetes, you see, because it is so wonderful. It has natural inulin, which is like insulin, in the stem and the blossom. So I just pick them and chew them all the time. Now here, what you need to look at is the root. And I love the root. Now I often just take this and get all of the outside off, and then I chew the root. Now here again, when you take the blossom or the stem of the fresh blossom or the root, it has kind of a bitter taste. Well, that's your minerals. And of course, the more you get used to chewing your food, the sweeter it gets. So you take this root and start chewing, and soon it gets sweet. Well, then the other thing is that every 2 weeks you get new taste buds on your tongue. And so soon you can re-educate your taste buds and saying, well, this is so good for me, and I'm really going to enjoy it, and no matter how bitter it seems, I'm going to be using these wonderful things.
The health tip of the week or any advice on this program is for educational purposes only and is not intended as a replacement for qualified health care. Please consult your physician or healthcare provider before making any changes or starting new treatments.
Folks, it's flea and tick season. You know, and we don't want to be afraid of nature. We certainly don't want to just stay inside all the time, but we need to go outside and we need to feel confident that, you know, we can, you know, enjoy the out of doors and not get ourselves in you know, too much trouble. So there's several things that we can do. Certainly we can cover up, you know, and tuck tuck your pants into your boots and so on. But I think that I love to go barefoot, and I'm not going to stop going barefoot, but I tell you, there's some natural essential oils that we can use. Citronella, lemongrass, rosemary and peppermint are good essential oils that will repel both fleas and ticks. And here's a little formula. If you want to take 4 drops of tea tree oil, add 2 drops of lavender, mix it with a cup of water, and then put it in a spray bottle. You can spray it on yourself, you can spray it on your pets, and it's non-toxic, and you can go outside and enjoy this gorgeous weather and feel comfortable and safe. I'm Willa from Sunnywald Natural Foods with the health tip of the week. Sunnywald Natural Foods. Good health comes from the farm, not the pharmacy.
I'm Deb Watson. I'm an artist from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I paint small-town America in watercolor and oils. This is a traditional watercolor of the backyard wildlife. This is my typical small town America scene. It's East Petersburg, Pennsylvania. I love getting all the tiny detail. This is a watercolor of a flower. I teach a lot and students love to paint flowers. And this is a figurative piece that just came back from a national juried show. I'm also the president of the Pennsylvania Watercolor Society. All the work here is for sale, and the Pennsylvania Watercolor Society is always open to new members. I'd advise anybody to give watercolor a try. It's come a long way.
Eco York is a different type of web development company. Not only can we develop websites that save you time and money, but will also help you become more eco-friendly. Are you a member of a referral group? Check out our product, EcoFurl. Need a custom product so you can save time and money? Eco York goes above and beyond out-of-the-box software and develops custom applications that can save your business time and money. Are you a maid service company in need of an online estimate tool? Check out our other product, Compass Wave. Do you find yourself performing a tedious task every day? We'll help you perform that task in a more efficient way. No matter where we are, you can count on us to take care of your website's needs. Hi, I'm Mark Lane, President of Eco York. Let us show you what makes us different. Give us a call or visit us online today.
Natural Awakenings is a free monthly magazine about natural health and sustainable living. Look for Natural Awakenings wherever free publications are available or online at naturalcentralpa.com. Feel better, live simply, and laugh more with Natural Awakenings magazine.
We had moles in the garden, and one year Kenny was our farmer, and he found in a book it said this plant will help to repel the moles. So we got it, and now they go to seed and they get little balls, and they have all of these little seeds pods that then they start new plants. And so that's a mole plant, but it's not edible, it's just a beautiful plant. The leaf looks like a foot, so it's a goose foot. That's the other name. This is lamb's quarters. They're not quite sure where the name came from, but it's lamb's quarters. And then this is better than spinach. So you can use this all summer. You never have to buy your spinach, although I have spinach growing out back. But spinach is good, but this is also excellent or even better. More raw food, because raw food will keep everything growing in your body so much better. So you want to use a lot of raw foods. And that's why I make salads every day of all of these different things. And I have a dark green salad with flowers on top. So like my pansies are on top are now all different flowers. This one is called Dame's Rocket, and this one is edible, so I use this again to decorate my salads often. It's not one that you use the rest of the plant, you only use the top. This is the summer balsam, stomach balsam, and so it helps the stomach. Well, this is the one that I use in my salads and in my fruit salads especially, that this is the plantain. Now the other thing is, that plantain is such a healer. If you cut yourself or even anything else that happens, like if you make a bruise, you can put this on. But here's the other thing. You know what bees do sometimes? They sting you. Have you ever had a bee sting? What you have to do is quickly grab one of these, chew it a little bit, get the juice out, rub that juice on that bee sting, and it'll just stop the stinging and it'll heal that bee sting. So this is great to know that you can use this. Now sometimes you can find this almost any place, but I like the tea, and they say catnip and sage. There's catnip right there. Catnip and sage, they say good for old age. So you see I can drink that tea now, and I do love that tea. This one looks like a geranium leaf. It's called malva or mallow. There's a land mallow. There's also a marshmallow. We don't have that. And the hollyhock is related to this also, so that it has the same type of leaf and it has those round leaves. This one gets the little pink blossom, and then it gets the little seed pod that forms after the blossoms are over. This little round seed pod, we call it buttonweed. That's the other common name, buttonweed, because it looks like little buttons. And so I know as children, we always ate these little buttons. We didn't know the value of it. But this is one of the most healing herbs along with comfrey. And you can also use the two together many times. Instead of just comfrey, you can use this, the malva in with it. Peppermint tea, that's just starting to come up. And there's peppermint growing all around. Now the peppermint is the dark mint. This is the one that has the real dark stem, and that's your real valuable peppermint. There's different kinds, but that's the one that I really like to use a lot of. And I use it in salads, and I use it in many different ways. And of course, make your tea, and of course for headaches or anything like that, peppermint is so good. Peppermint's good for digestion, so you can use it in different ways that way. And the last little leaf of the clover and pink blossom. All right, let's put the lid on and see what happens. And it gets pink instead of green, so you never know what's going to happen when you use all those different things. Okay, we'll turn it on. If I turn this on, it might work. I think it'll be okay. Passing them down the line, and everybody can get some and taste it. And so then we sing the little song to go with it. Chew, chew, chew your food thoroughly each meal. The more you chew, the less you eat, the better you will feel. So we learn to sing that little song.
This week we've had a lot of questions on container gardening, and we'd like to go over some very important points that we need to consider before we start such a thing. The first thing you need to consider is a location. For vegetables, you need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight for it to be a success. Another thing is select the right container. Generally speaking, the larger the container, the less problems you'll have. It's just more water holding capacity, and also it'll be less tip over in a wind. This is a large container with more space on the bottom for stability. And this is a very good container. And remember, these containers aren't necessarily cheap, but you'll use this year after year. The same goes for the cage. If you spread that cost out over 5 or 6 years, it's really pretty reasonable. The correct size plant. Now, you can put any tomato plant in a container. The thing you have to consider is how will we support it? If it's a large indeterminate type, you need to have some way to support it. There are a lot of varieties available though that are more compact and suited to a container. But if you want a red slicer, you're probably going to be using an indeterminate, little more vigorous vine. First thing we like to do is talk about this mix. The soil mix is different than the mineral soil in your garden. This is all artificial. There's no actual soil in here. It's based with peat moss, perlite, and vermiculite. And there's even some rice hulls in there. And this is a mix that is designed to drain. And for that reason, it doesn't hold on to nutrients real well. So we'll address that a little later, but this is the mix we're going to use. The tomato we're using today is called Health Kick. It's a very unique tomato. It's a pretty recent development, but they have come out with a way to grow a tomato that has increased levels of lycopene, and which is very good for antioxidants as far as fighting cancer and all those things. But this is a very new development that they're able to do that. This is called Health Kick. The first thing I want to do when I plant this in a planter is I want to prune some of the leaves off, okay? And you have to be careful how you do this. You don't want to tear them off of the stem, but you want to pinch them off so you don't damage the stem. You should take off at least the bottom 3 or 4 leaves. One thing that's unique about tomatoes is wherever the stem touches the soil, roots will grow from that part. So we want to plant our tomatoes very deep. That's why we prune the leaves. Then you want to plant it right up to that last leaf, the last leaf that you left on. You want to plant it right to that level. Now, as this plant grows, this is an indeterminate variety, it will need some support. So what we'd like to do is put a cage on this one. Now, on a windy scenario, when the plant has grown large, you may need to put this at the edge of your patio. If you have a patio that you're putting on, drive a stake in and put a rope or a wire around the pot so it helps hold it stable in a high wind. Put the cage on, push it all the way to the bottom so it holds in the soil very well, and that one's ready to go. As far as watering goes, you want to water this immediately. When you plant it, you want to water it, and if it's me, I like to fertilize right away. I know some say wait a little bit, but I think when you're in a potting mix such as this, you don't want to get behind on fertilizer. So I recommend that you feed with fertilizer right away. Now, when we talk about fertilizer, we have several kinds that we can use. This is a time-release fertilizer. It says it lasts up to 4 months, okay? The problem with that is that's figured at 70 degrees. And we all know what happens here in York County. We often hit 90, 95 degrees. This product is probably gone in a month and a half to 2 months. So it is a way to go. You can always reapply, but I prefer to go with liquid fertilizer and do it when I water. This is a fertilizer that's water soluble. You can see the 3 numbers are 20, 20, 20. It's what they call a balanced fertilizer. This I would use for the first 2 applications. And after that, I would switch to something that is designed for vegetables, 9, 13, 22. Okay, that's more potassium, more phosphorus. That's what fruit needs to develop. It needs more potassium. So that's pretty much it in fertilizing. You may run into some pests at some point. If you can be patient, if they're aphids, oftentimes without spraying, you can get a buildup of ladybugs that will take care of that. The ladybugs will actually take care of the aphids if you're patient. If you need to see them gone right away, there are plenty of materials, both organic and conventional, to use on that plant. One of the most frequently asked questions we get on container garden is how to water. What's the correct way and how often? When a plant is at this stage, it probably is, you might go 2 days, maybe 3, before you need to water again. But as it grows and as it sets fruit, you will definitely need to water it every day, especially when it's forming fruit. It will draw the water out of this very fast. Now, when you do your fertilizing, you can mix that with a regular watering. Just follow the label and you'll be fine. But the fertilizing needs to be done at least once a week, following the label. There are many different vegetables that you can put in these containers. We have a tomato here, but you could grow peppers in here, you could grow eggplant, hot peppers, and a container this size, you could put 3 peppers in. So that is an option also. But there are many other things that you can grow in containers. You can do broccoli, cauliflower, all the cole crops. just about any vegetable that you can grow in your garden will work in a container if you just realize your limitations and know how to fertilize it. We have a mixed container garden. This is a little unique. This is leaf lettuce, and if you can see, it's surrounding a tomato plant. This leaf lettuce is about to be harvested, and what you do with leaf lettuce is just take off the most mature leaves and use that in your salad or your sandwich, however you'd like to use it. About the time that the heat hits and the lettuce starts to get either bitter or just starts to go to seed, cut the lettuce off at ground level, take it out of there, and let the tomato take over. This particular tomato is called Sweet Treats. It's a small cherry type, but it's very compact and yields extremely heavy. Unbelievable amount of tomatoes from this one plant. Again, this is a plant that's suited to this size container. It's a small, compact plant for this size container. My name's Dave Miller from Miller Plant Farm, and thanks for joining us for your garden tip of the week.
Hi, I'm Jess with Racehorse Productions. Do you need a high-quality professional video for your business, product, service, event, or something else? We at Racehorse Productions have a motto: if you can dream it, we can film it. For all your video needs, give us a call. We would love to work with your idea or help create one for you. Thank you, and remember, if you can dream it, we can film it.
Natural Awakenings is an effective marketing vehicle for your business. The magazine reaches a highly responsive, niche audience in your area. Learn how Natural Awakenings can help your business grow at naturalcentralpa.com. Feel better, live simply, and laugh more with Natural Awakenings magazine.
The Central Link aims to support itself through sponsors and advertising, as well as individual donations from viewers like you. You can advertise your business or easily make a donation with PayPal on our website. Help us keep the show on the air.